Welcome back, friends, to Module 2.1. I'm Maria Naggaga.
And I'm Scott Hanselman.
So, Scott, we've talked a lot about packages and using NuGet packages. So I don't think that they're in the mystery in the world. There must be a way that we can make them.
Yep, we've created NuGets. If you go over to your dependencies here,
Yeah.
we've seen just briefly that there's that main SDK, in this case here a .NET Core app, that is kind of a collection of libraries. Under dependencies where it says NuGet, we saw in Module 2 where we brought in static files, and we brought that down from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Where is that somewhere? If we go here to NuGet.org, this is the online catalog of libraries and packages.
So,
see, if you scroll down here, there's actually 74,000 packages.
wow.
Yeah, and there's been over nearly 2.5 billion package downloads. If we go to search packages, remember how we just did static files?
Yeah. There it is.
There it is right there. We can see that we've had 3 million downloads of that, and it shows how you could do that from the package manager command line. You can see things like tags and licenses and different versions. See? We're using the standard version of static files. So you had said, how do we make them?
Yeah, how do we make those?
Well, if we just go over here again to solutions, and I'm just going to close this up just to see that's all our application is. Our web app consists of these dependencies. We had a couple of files in our root and then 2 code files.
Yeah.
We have a solution that has 1 project. Let's make another project.
Within the same solution.
Within the same solution. So they're going to become a collection here. I'm going to say right-click, add, new project.
Oh, it's good, taking you right back to the templates.
Right. We could have, if we wanted, multiple web applications in a project. We could have multiple web services. We've seen projects of 100 different, like if in a big company, you could have 100 projects.
Yeah.
That might be a little crazy, but you could totally do that, and people have.
And could you also do it with, let's say I wanted to add a mobile
That's a great
project.
point. We could have an Android app talking to a web backend.
Yeah.
You could have Android and iPhone and Windows Desktop and Windows Classic Desktop and store apps, and they could all talk to some ASP.NET Core thing, a web API. We'll talk about web APIs, that you could then talk to. But what we're going to do is we can make a class library.
All right.
But because we want our class library to work anywhere, we're going to make a standard class library. And the standard class library will allow it to be used in all of those things we just mentioned.
So framework, XAML, like all these different places?
Yep, everywhere.
Okay.
This is a standard library.
Oh, it's in the name.
Yep, exactly. And during the advanced days that we will record in the future, we'll be able to explain that in detail. But a standard library is almost always a safe bet right now. So here now we've got Web Application 10 and then Class Library. And if we, just to point it out, right-click and say Open in File Explorer, we see we have our class and our CS proj. Let's just look inside that project just to make sure you know that we're not hiding anything from you. Remember how the first one said that it was a
.NET Core
exe is an executable. This is a standard library.
Okay.
And standard library has different versions. We're using version 1.4, which lets us use our library in lots of different places.
All right.
So let's go to our class. Not very creative class here. Well, let's just public static string greeting. I'm not typing very well today. Greeting. Return hello from the class library. All right. So this isn't just a class. It is a class in its own world, in its own project. If I right-click and I said build that class, and then I went and opened up in File Explorer and dug down, I can find that file. That dynamic link library, that's the thing that knows how to greet us.
Okay.
All right. Now, popping it all the way back up off the stack, what was your original question? NuGet.
Yes.
You can right-click. Everything's right-click these days, isn't it? right-click.
And then, oh.
Build.
Pack.
Yes.
So pack is package.
Pack is to package it up. I right-clicked and I said pack. And if you click down here in output, you can see it. Here's your build step. We saw that.
Yeah.
Class library made a standard DLL, a standard library.
And there it is.
And there it is. So what we have here is this NuGet package. We're going to go and look at that on disk just to point it out. Some people call that a nupkeg. I think that's dumb.
Yeah.
But those people also architected the system that we're teaching you.
Okay, so
we may have to call it
we'll
that.
Call it that.
Yes,
we'll call it that. What is it called again?
A nupkeg.
A nupkeg, okay.
David Fowler calls it a nupkeg. I refuse.
What do you call it?
It's a NuGet package.
Okay.
I don't know. So what's interesting about this, though, just as a little point of note, if I click on it.
It also has a version. Okay.
Yeah, it's got the version in there, too. But I watch this. I can actually go and say .zip.
Oh.
NuGet packages are zip files. And they're zip files with the DLL inside it.
So by saying zip, we're able to see right what's in there and what it's made up
We're
of.
cheating. All it is a zip file. But by renaming it, I can open it up and look at it. But what you think about as the creator of one, or as myself as the consumer of one, it's a unit of work. It's, here's my library, conveniently packaged, and like you pointed out, it's got a version.
Yeah.
So let's go back up to nuget.org. And I can go and say upload package. I could sign in with my Microsoft account, and then we could publish this package.
Is there any kind of authentication process or like a wait period?
Yeah, there's this wait period. There's people who kind of look at that, make sure that you're not doing something evil. I can sign in with a Microsoft account or register. There's also kind of a reputation system. So if you're doing naughty things, the package is going to get removed and you're going to be, banned.
Okay.
This, though, even though we packed it, we don't have that up on NuGet. I could go and say manage NuGet packages. And I could go and, maybe type it in. I don't think I have anything. Yeah, there's no packages up there called Scott.
But can we use it locally?
Yeah, we can use it locally. Very briefly, though, I wanted to point out that you can make a list of package sources. So there's NuGet. That's where it came from. It's good to know. That's the location that those APIs came from. If you wanted to, you can go out there and Google with Bing for NuGet local server. In your company or your small work group or your friends, and you can host your own NuGet.
Right in there.
Anywhere. I have one here in localhost. I also own my domain, hanselman.com.
So you can have a bunch in there?
I could say nuget.hanselman.com. The server is open source. So exactly the same code that you're hosting or you're seeing at nuget.org, you could have the Lady Naggaga NuGet server. And it could be where people could get your private builds and your continuous integration builds, your daily builds of your NuGet packages. So you'd said, how do we use it locally?
Yeah.
If it's not a NuGet package, then what is it?
It's still a class library.
It's still a class library, so we're going to just add a class reference. Say reference, do it like that, and then hit OK. Watch. See, this just appeared.
Yeah.
So now...
It's
nice. It's nice. I really like this. This is new in Visual Studio. It's cleaned up the dependencies and put it in a really nice way. And you'll notice that projects actually didn't exist as a node until we added one.
So this would also appear in RCS Proj, would it not?
That's a great point. Let's do that. So I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to say Edit. And let's hit Shift-Alt-Enter.
There it is.
Yeah. So we have our package references from NuGet. We have our project reference.
Yeah.
And then just as a little point of note, those couple of HTML files just showed up there as well. All right. And to call back to when we originally talked about .NET from the command line, if you recall, we went .NET add package.
Yeah.
And then you went looking for your package. We can also say .NET add project at the command line and pass in your CS proj. So we could have...
Oh, the CS proj for your application.
Yeah. And then that would be adding that reference. So we could have gone out to the command line, said .NET add project class library 1 and done that as well. So this is a really important point. We can do these references in Notepad, in Visual Studio Code, or in VS with this nice graphical experience.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
That's pretty cool.
So from there, let's just, as we end, we'll change our hello world to talk to your stuff. What was the namespace that it was in?
Was it Marie? No.
Class Library 1.
Very original.
Very original, yes.
Yeah.
Hello. Class Library 1. See, I'm getting, oops.
Yeah.
I'm getting, I was getting IntelliSense before I typed too fast.
You're too fast for IntelliSense?
No, my hands are, it's time to eat. There we go. So we're calling that library, and then I'll drop it in
the name, yep.
There. Cool. And then when we run this, it'll work. Here we go. Hello, hello, hello from the class library.
Oh, because we had hello.
Yeah, we had hello already. And then if we go down here, I want to point this out. This is our application. Yeah. There's our web app. And of course, the system brought our class library over so that they can all live in the same folder. And then at some point in the future, if this became a really large application, it'd be full of all different.
All the different ones, like your phone application, your web application, your desktop application, all in one
Where
place.
are our other NuGets, though? Where's all the NuGets things for like the system and .NET Standard and all that
Where
stuff?
do they all go? Are they within? So
that's a good question. They are in a local package cache. The system has a package cache.
Okay.
And because we have a shared runtime, because .NET Core is installed on the machine, it's going to get them from there. If I wanted to make this a self-contained application, I would have to copy all my .NET bits in here and then give it to you on a USB key. And then we'll do that in an advanced MVA soon.
Okay.
All right. So that's shared libraries and learning how to create a little NuGet package, just very briefly here in Module 2.1.
Yeah.
Stick with us.